the shaking of heaven and earth. There are those who believe that the Bible foretells a future scenario on the earth of a rapture of Christians, followed by the rise of an Antichrist, a world dictator who initiates a great tribulation on the earth and assembles global forces for a battle of Armageddon against Israel, resulting in the second coming of Christ, who replaces the universe with a new heavens and earth to rule forever. The tendency of modern literalism is to interpret descriptions of signs in the heavens and earth as being quite literal events of the heavens and earth shaking, stars falling from the sky, the moon turning blood red, and the sky rolling up like a scroll. Rather than seeking to understand the origins of symbols and images used by these writers within their ancient context, this literalism often suggests the writers were seeing events that would occur in our modern day but did not understand them, so they used ancient primitive language to describe it. God declares in Haggai 2:6, "Once more in a little while, I am going to shake the heavens and the earth, the sea also and the dry land." The author of the book of Hebrews shows us in his epistle his own interpretation and the use of this cosmic symbolism. He says, "See to it that you do not refuse him who is speaking. For if those did not escape when they refused him who warned them on earth, much less will we escape who turn away from him who warns from heaven. And his voice shook the earth then, but now he has promised, saying, Yet once more I will shake not only the earth, but also the heaven." This expression, "yet once more," denotes the removing of those things which can be shaken, as of created things, so that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Many have taken this to refer to a great cosmic catastrophe that will bring an end to the created universe. However, it seems best to understand the shaking of earth and heaven as a symbolic description of the destruction of the Jerusalem temple. This is confirmed in the following ways. First, the Jews considered the temple to be the focal point of creation, the gate of heaven, and the navel of the earth. As such, the temple became a microcosm of the Jewish cosmology. The inner sanctuary was designed to symbolize heaven, with the outer court representing the earth and the sea. Both Josephus and Philo utilize this cosmic symbolism, declaring, for example, the veil to represent heaven and the 7 lamps to represent the 7 planets. Later Talmudic tradition taught that the walls of the temple resembled the waves of the sea. The Jewish connection between temple and cosmos was such that the glory of the temple in Jerusalem symbolized the stability of the Jewish world. Second, the context of Haggai also suggests temple symbolism because the prophet declares that the heavens and the earth will be shaken in order to establish a greater, more glorious temple. This is consistent with the use of temple symbolism throughout the Old Testament. For example, Psalm 78:69 declares, "He built his sanctuary like the high heavens, like the earth, which he has founded forever." The structure of the tabernacle was meant to depict heaven that was like a tent to dwell in. See Isaiah 40:22 and Psalms 104:2. The temple symbolism may also explain why during the dedication of the temple Solomon addressed God in this house and in heaven at the same time. Elsewhere, the creation of new heavens and a new earth is equated with the creation of New Jerusalem for rejoicing. See Isaiah 65, 17 and 18. Third, cosmic imagery is used elsewhere in the New Testament to describe the destruction of the Jerusalem temple. For example, Jesus summarized his prediction of the temple's destruction with the promise, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away." Note the inclusion connecting the passing away of heaven and earth with the reference to the destruction of the temple at the beginning of Jesus' discourse. So the passing away of heaven and earth is best understood as the collapse of a mythical space-time universe, which is embodied in the Jerusalem temple. Fourth, the author of Hebrews' own use of cosmic symbolism throughout his epistle also indicates that the temple's destruction is in view. For example, the author declares that the earthly tabernacle is a copy and shadow of the heavenly things. Since the veil before the holy place typified heaven, the author declares Jesus passed through the heavens, that is through the veil, to offer his sacrifice. This also explains why the author describes heaven in Hebrews 12:27 as something made of this creation, like the holy place made with hands. For Christ did not enter a holy place made with hands, a mere copy of the true one, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us. In this way, he distinguishes the symbol of heaven, which is about to be shaken, that is the temple, from heaven itself, where the true holy place is found, the perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, not of this creation. See Hebrews 9:11. Finally, the shaking of heaven anticipates the author's final appeal to his contemporary readers to go outside the camp. Therefore Jesus also, that he might sanctify the people through his own blood, as an offering for sin, suffered outside the gate. So, let us go out to him outside the camp, bearing his reproach. For here we do not have a lasting city, but we are seeking the city which is to come. Jerusalem would soon be destroyed. Now the Bible assures us that man was made for God, to exhibit the divine likeness, and bear the divine glory. The fall of man did not quench that hope, or forbid that destiny. God will bring a greater good out of dreadful evil, sorrow, pain and death. From man's ruined creation will spring a glorious bride, outshining the angels in her splendor. This bride, the New Jerusalem, holds within itself the Garden of Eden and is an image of perfect harmony between civilization and nature. It thereby also consummates the history of earthly nature with human beings. The city of God lives in nature, and nature lives in the city of God. The Garden City was an ancient ideal of the polis for many peoples. It is the ideal of ecological city civilization too. The innermost heart of the vision of the New Jerusalem and the new creation of heaven and earth is nothing other than the immediate, omnipresent and eternal indwelling of God and of His Christ. It is the prerogative of Jesus Christ to share the throne with His people, and so to realize the secret object of all creation. That man should reign over all as viceregent of God. This promise is wonderfully described in the Psalms 8. Just as the Spirit hovered over the original creation, fashioning it into the image of the heavens, so our task is to heavenize the world, bringing God's blueprint to its most complete realization. Amen.